All right. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Hala Pablo. Let's look at Zcash and Bitcoin today. Zcash. Check this out. Now, people have been asking me about Zcash, and so I've got good news and then not so good news. Well, I guess it's good news all around. It just depends how you look at it. Um, so the Iron Dome indicator, with the 400 and the 200 moving averages on the daily with the bottom pocket, it works surprisingly well. This indicator works surprisingly well on on Zcash with its algorithm, and I want to show you. This is Zcash right here. Now, it's of course it's different. It's got a completely different algorithm from Bitcoin's. You would think that these two would be indexed, and perhaps one day they may be uh, indexed. It's entirely feasible, especially when you consider Zcash was built to be an improvement, designed to be an improvement on Bitcoin. It's even got the same total supply, right, of 21 million. So it's so a case can be made for that, and I believe what it's at 588 today, and I think the similar volume has already been absorbed too. It's like that's kind of identical to Bitcoin's supply and circulation as well. So in another 3 to 5 years, we could see Zcash's value just explode just because of the scarcity of supply. Um, but there are things in the news now coming out that are decidedly bearish, and I'm going to show you the price action of why I think this is feeding into that narrative uh, that there could be some profit taking pretty soon with Zcash, major profit taking. Uh, Zcash paints falling stars, momentum fades. Zcash gains institutional attention despite bearish warnings. All this is good, right? But now there are questions about the efficacy of the privacy feature relating to Zcash. Zcash isn't a privacy coin, it's a choice. See, here it goes. Arkham says Zcash privacy features are not enabled by default and that most platforms use traceable addresses and transactions. So basically, if you're going to use Zcash to do nefarious things on the dark web, you could be traced. It's not like Monero. Um, and so even though it has that shielding, unshielding capability, even if you shield it, it can still be traced. As far as I know, that's what this is conveying. It claims to have tracked over $420 billion worth of Zcash to known individuals and institutions, many of whom thought their transactions were private. Zcash has reclaimed its spot as one of the top coins. And so, anyway, there's that. So that might effectuate a sell off because we are going into, and I'll show you here. Now, this is again Zcash's price action with the Iron Dome indicator superimposed on it. Here's the 200 and the 400. We see that the same as Bitcoin, when it falls under the this pocket here, I've coded the indicator to color this dome red. And so we see this area of oversold crypto beneath the dome, and it could be protracted also. Now I haven't done the fractal algorithms for Zcash like I have with Ethereum and Bitcoin, but I mean it's there and it's manageable, it's traceable, and it's fairly predictable as well, barring this explosion we had back in September of 25, where it exploded. It just pumped like 1,300% or whatever it was. Um, but now we see a similarity after a hyperbolic kind of pump here. We come down and we nestle into the pocket. We see this. This is germane to Bitcoin as well. You see after this pump here what we did in March of last year, how it didn't break through the pocket. It just reaccumulated within this pocket here, and then that set the stage. This turned out to be a reaccumulation. It set the stage for another rally, which was the second drive of this three drive. Usually these uh, macro bull runs end in a and an explosive three drives, each one going higher than the other. The third one, not so much higher than the second. The biggest jump is between the first and the second usually. But one thing is common with all of them. The common denominator is the bottoms between the valleys, between these peaks, do not go past the pocket, the 400 and the 200 pocket. So going back to Zcash, we see the first one possibly here. Now, this would be the second drive, and the second drive hasn't gone up hasn't superseded the first drive. The first drive capped out here. Boom. So we'll call this like what, $736, something like that, right? And so there could be another pump. We could go up above 700, back up above, although I don't know what's going on right now, especially Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to be distributing, obviously, and so in its distributional process. But like these have been kind of like going in contrary motion, haven't they? Well, if they decide to at some point index in the midst of Bitcoin's own distribution, then that could pull this thing down, but perhaps not before a pump. And so here. And so if this comes up like this, just be aware that this sort of thing is very common after such a markup. I mean, 1,300%. This thing is due to come back down, perhaps not all the way down to the 200 weekly. That's this green line, right? The 200 weekly SMA, but certainly back down into the pocket. Now, the 200 and the 400 will be rising as well. And so that could bring about another reaccumulation here and set the stage for the last drive. And that would be the 3 drive. And that would be, that would correlate to something like this and then down beneath the pocket. But that's not, I don't know. I don't know the future, but here's the thing. If we come back down after whatever it does here, forget this third drive because we may not ever get it. But let's say it comes down here. The litmus test is going to be if it goes through this pocket. That's what we need to look for, y'all. So when it comes down here, if it goes through the pocket, then we'll have an iron dome. This will begin to shade red, right? Like it did here. And here, and here, and sporadically within this area here. I was about to say Bitcoin, Zcash is very volatile, more so than Bitcoin. And so it's in a wild stage of its existence right now, and so it's revving up and ready to go. Well, the way it's made so many people wealthy going up, it's going to come back down as well when many of these same whales start taking profit. So bring it back down into the pocket here, which it was in just a few months ago, right? Back in March, it was down here. We had this low area here back in the 200s, and then it shot up again. So just be prepared for another sell-off. And then when it sells off, you could actually get this indicator by joining the Discord, or you could just code it yourself. You just do like an SMA off TradingView, and you just put in the coordinates yourself, 200 and 400 SMA on the daily. Make sure you do it on the daily, otherwise you won't get an accurate readout. And so if this comes back down, we get a sell-off. Let's say we get a higher, like another drive, like a second drive. And so what this makes is a rising wedge, right, when these things are fully formed. And so this could be in the process of creating a rising wedge. And so you could still make a lot of money with Zcash because you can momentum trade these drives. Just be careful on the third drive. And I would not go long if this thing breaks, if it comes into the pocket and it goes through the 400 SMA, and we really need to just like not do anything with Zcash if that happens, because then we got to watch and see what happens between these two SMAs. So what happens usually is the 200 will cross beneath the 400, like here, and that's basically the death signal. And that's when you know that the whales and the informed interest and the market makers are going to be taking institutionalized profits. They did institutionalize rallies here, and they made their money, and now they're going to cash out. It's also a big move down. So just be vigilant of that. I'll be keeping my eyes on Zcash. Among other coins, I got about 12 coins here that all of them are entering into super cycles within the next 2 to 3 years. Sooner, I would say within the next, perhaps even a year. It just depends on what happens with Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes down into the pocket here and goes into latency, then we could see the altcoins begin to rally, and then that may be the beginning. But we don't know yet what's going to happen. But all of these coins that I have, and I have about a dozen, they're all in their own super cycles. So we're talking like weekly time frames, pattern recognition on weekly time frames with the Nupal, with divergences confirming, and some of them I have fractals on even. So I'm tracking the algorithms as well. And when these things explode, and these are all blue chippers, they're not no name, they're not unknown kind of coins and tokens that haven't proven themselves. These are all blue chippers like Aave and AVAX and Algorand and Link and stuff like that. So I'm going to be sharing some of that also. I'm going to be sharing all of these actually in the Discord group. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. And yeah, and I'll be doing more stuff on Zcash and Ethereum, and I'm going to get back into Bitcoin because we need to do an update on Bitcoin as well. But I've been getting a lot of feedback and a lot of requests just to please do Zcash. So I just wanted to kind of throw you guys a bone and let you know what I'm looking at here and what could be happening, and also taking into account the news of what could possibly catalyze this rising wedge. If this is what it is, and they're already speculating on the efficacy of the privacy in Zcash and such, and if it's not able to reclaim lost support lines like the $600 line, that we've gone under 600, and so that was a loss there, and so that was a loss of a support line. All of that could be feeding into a greater narrative. But then right when you think it's going to go down, we have a pump, but that's usually a liquidity run, and that accounts for sometimes the second drive, kind of like what we saw with Bitcoin here. So, and that would be nice, right? And I would say if we start marking back up with Zcash, definitely get back in. But we'll be doing the technical analysis on Zcash if and when that happens, and we'll be measuring out the Fibonacci extension. So, all right, and with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you got something out of this. I know it was a little slow today. I had a real busy weekend, man. Real busy weekend. And so and Memorial Day yesterday, so I've been out of the loop. But I hope to get back in soon, and I'm going to be doing more and more altcoins. And so I just wanted to kind of launch it with Zcash, just to kind of give you a taste of what's coming on this channel. So, all right, guys, I love you. I'll talk to you later. If you need prayer, hollapablo@gmail.com, and I'll talk to some of you guys soon. All right, God bless. Bye bye.